Welcome to That's My Biz, the Internet Business Showcase, where we bring exposure to products, services, and special causes of local businesses and organizations. Thank you so much for joining us. We are coming to you live from the BizLinks TV studio. Brought to you by Visual Marketing Mentors, LLC. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of That's My Biz. I'm Pamela Alexander, your host, and as always, we're excited to bring to you the wonderful businesses and organizations and nonprofits that we meet when we're out there networking, and we want you to know about these businesses, organizations, the wonderful products, services, and special causes that they have. We have with us today our special guest, Ms. Myra Cisse. Welcome, Myra.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now, to tell you a little bit about Myra, she is an MBA, and she is the owner of Certifications Consultant, and now the author of her new ebook, The Certified Business Advantage, the edge you need when selling B2b and B2G. And we're going to get into that for those that may not know what that stands for. But also want to just let you know what Myra does is she helps women, veterans, and minority business owners get certifications that can help their business gain a competitive advantage in the corporate or federal marketplace. Their certification solutions have helped several of their past clients win multi-year, multi-million-dollar contracts. And I know the businesses out there really want to know how they can do that, and they want a part of that. So first, let's start out. Just explain why women, veteran, and minority businesses should get certified in the first place.
Well, there are just a ton of opportunities for those particular sets of individuals. Whether it's in corporate America, oftentimes corporations have tax incentives or their own, internal goals that they're trying to meet when it comes to procuring goods and services from women, from veterans, and from minorities. So by being certified, then you can participate in those opportunities with corporations.
Okay.
And then in the government space, there are veteran opportunities and women-owned small business goals that the government agencies have that, quite frankly, several are not meeting. So it's just important that you register your business so that you can take advantage of those opportunities.
Okay, that's fantastic. So now we mentioned B2B and B2G for those that don't know maybe what that stands for.
Well, B2B is business to business. So if you are a company doing business with other companies, then you're a B2B type business. And B2G would be your business selling to the government.
Okay, so that's good. So we'll make sure you all understand that. But now, so we talk about the certifications, but now how does a business decide, one, should they be certified? Because maybe is it right for all businesses?
No, definitely not. I mean, take my business for example. I mean, my service is servicing other business owners. So the products and services that I offer aren't really going to be procured by other corporations or by government sectors.
Okay.
Now, I have found a few contract opportunities recently where different municipalities are outsourcing their certification preparation services, so that works out well. But not every business is going to be a good candidate for certifications.
Okay.
But if you've got a product or service that other companies buy, then likely you are a good candidate for different certification options.
And then I know on the government side, of course, we got the old idea of where they talk about the government spends, hundreds of dollars on a screw, things like that. So kind of dispel maybe that myth, or maybe it's not, but talk about that a little bit and kind of how the opportunities that the government may have for the businesses.
Well, that was a myth, and maybe at one point in time that was true, but with everything being so open source and just everything being so transparent, those kinds of things can't go on anymore.
Right.
So it's really important, because we got the free open market system, that you make yourself as competitive as possible. And the certifications for your business can give you an edge, all things being equal. If you're going up against another company and you're certified and they aren't, and that certification can help that agency meet its goals, then you can win out.
Okay. And then now also, because we've talked before, we talked with other organizations that also help businesses with this. It's not an easy road to get certified.
Definitely not.
Right? Yeah, it feels kind of invasive. Talk a little bit about kind of what that process is for a business.
Right. And thank you for saying that, because it is, I mean, one of the things that you first have to decide for your business is how open do you want to be. You can't go into this business of certifications, whether it's for companies or for government agencies, and not be willing to bear all your dirty laundry,
Right.
for lack of a
Yeah.
better word. I mean, so everything is going to be out there in the open. Your tax returns for the past 3 years, proof that you've paid all of your past taxes, business and personal, your corporate records, your employee agreements, everything is just totally transparent. So it is invasive, but that's the cost, the cost you have to pay if you want to play in that particular
Right,
space
right.
and have the advantage that it can give.
Okay, so now with that, so does a business, when we talk about if it's a right fit for a business, does a business, do they have to have, been what's considered successful maybe in the average person's eye, where maybe they've been in business several years, they're making good money, all of that, or can it be, a fairly new business or a business that maybe has been around, but they're not making a lot of
Right,
money
right.
yet? Kind of, what are the opportunities there, or is it really just for those businesses that have already been out there and been established?
Right, and that's the other misnomer. You don't have to, I mean, a lot of people, when they realize, oh my God, I've got to give my tax returns, I'm
Right.
not a 6 or 7 figure business, then, I'm not even going to bother. Don't take that attitude. If you're just starting, then of course your personal information can work in lieu of the business returns that you have. But even if you have been around for several years and maybe you were doing it part-time or haven't broken that 6 figure mark yet, don't let that discourage you, because they're not so much concerned with what those revenue numbers are, but the ability of you and your company to perform on a particular contract.
Okay.
And that's not necessarily predicated by the revenue.
Okay, that's good to know for,
Right,
for a lot of
right.
business out there. Yeah, because I know a lot of businesses are fearful of even starting the process because they
Right.
figure that. Now, in talking about that too, now what about, I know you mentioned that they could potentially use their personal numbers. What about when it comes to credit? Do they have to have their business credit established?
Not necessarily. I mean, generally, when you're looking to perform on a contract, you will have to be able to provide opportunities,
Okay.
what credit lines you've got available or what access to credit you have. But also, don't let that scare you from the process, because there are a ton of opportunities out there for a company that isn't well established, doesn't have any business credit, where they can factor receivables and do other really creative things. And that's one of the things that I do and that I appreciate about my banking background, that allows me to help my clients when they
Okay.
start to identify opportunities. That, look, don't shy away from this because you've got to figure out how to fund it for the first 45 days,
Right.
and you don't happen to have $100,000
Right.
laying around. There are options out there that can let you do that.
Okay, that's good to know as well. So, I mean, I already hear the connections and the tie-ins and why it would be beneficial for them to work with you.
Right.
And now, I know a lot of times businesses think about the certification from the sole purpose of to make money and get
Right.
the income coming in. What are some of the other benefits that businesses may see from getting certified outside of just getting a contract that can pay them for a job?
Well, I mean, the other advantages are just the networking opportunities within the different agencies.
Okay.
I mean, there are a plethora of certifications out there, but like if you're certified with as a women business enterprise with Women Business Enterprise and National Council, they've got a regional office right here in Atlanta, and of course there are 37 around the country. So wherever you're located, there's a regional office next to you that has events that allow you to meet up with other women-owned businesses and network with them and possibly do business within the organization or with the organization.
Okay.
Let's say you sell office supplies. I mean, they've got to buy them from somewhere.
Right,
So it's
okay.
a great networking opportunity as well.
Okay. So even in finding with subcontractors that may be able to work or a way that you all can collaborate, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, potential partners,
Okay.
and I'm one of those big proponents. People think that I'm so corny, but together everyone achieves more.
Yeah.
So it's you can find people that maybe do the same thing you do, but neither one of you have the capability of handling a contract solo. So by coordinating your efforts, you can go after a project that's larger than the scope of either of your companies individually, but together you can tackle it.
Wow,
So
that's
you can
fantastic.
find people with whom you can collaborate.
Yeah, I love that because we always say collaboration is better than competition.
Absolutely.
So always look at what collaborative opportunities there may be with that. So now tell me, when people work with you or when you work with them, kind of what are some of the first steps and what types of businesses do you work with?
Well, I always tell people, and I certainly am not devaluing my services, but what I do for clients, they can do for themselves without paying me. So it's not necessarily a matter of you have to hire a consultant like me, but if you are better served making money in your business, then it would pay to use your time more wisely and to hire a consultant like myself to do the heavy
Absolutely.
lifting and to make sure it's done right. A perfect example is I've got a client with whom I'm going to be meeting a little later today that approached me. They started the 8A process themselves, and the standard operating procedure is every time you submit a package, you get back questions that they have.
Okay.
Generally, every time I submit a package, I get maybe 6 to 12 questions. They got 50 different things they need to address, 9 potential eligibility issues, meaning they may not even qualify for the program.
Okay.
And by hiring an expert, you can mitigate some of that extra work. I mean, how discouraging is that to go through all the work and
Right.
put the package together and be
Right.
like, oh my God, I got to start over.
Right.
So, you just, by hiring an expert, you kind of get the benefit there.
Yeah, yeah, and I love
And-
that, and everyone definitely, pay attention to that, and write that down, just take that in, because you have to build a team.
Right.
You're right, you can't do it all yourself, do what you're an expert in. I always say,
Exactly.
stay in your lane, and, let someone else whose lane
Yeah.
this is really work with you, because I'm sure there's so many things, that you don't know, and things that you don't know that you don't know, that you need
Exactly.
experts like Myra to work with you and help you with that. Now, you mentioned 8A, so now 8A is one of those certifications.
Right.
What are some of the other types of certifications you help businesses with?
Well, 8A is one of those that allows you to play in the federal marketplace, and it's
Okay.
a really complex certification that we'll have to discuss at a different
Okay.
time. But there's also Hub Zone if you're in a historically underutilized business development zone, the veteran-owned small business, service-disabled veteran-owned small business, and women-owned small business. Those allow you to compete for federal dollars,
Okay.
for federal contract opportunities. The great thing about women and veterans are that they kind of have the double-edged sword, and those same certifications will allow you to play with the big Fortune 500 companies as well. So, your women business enterprise, minority business enterprise, and veteran service-disabled veteran allow you to compete in the corporate arena for contracts with other companies.
Okay, so now do you help them decide which one's the best for them? Do
Right.
they need to get all certifications? Or?
Well, yeah, just because you can have everything doesn't necessarily mean you should. I always tell people do the certifications that you can get done with the least amount of time, the least amount of effort on your part for the least cost that's going to give you the most benefit. And start with that one and then expand if needed. I mean, if you are, happen to be a veteran and your veteran-owned certification is giving you everything you need and more business than you can handle in both the federal arena and the corporate arena, then maybe you don't need to do any others.
Okay.
But it just depends on the business. But I always say start with one that's going to maximize your revenue potential, and then you can grow from there if you need to.
Okay, that's fantastic. So now, when you work with the businesses, now do you actually do it for them completed, or you kind of just work hand in hand with them? And how does that work with the
Well,
full process?
With my full service process, it is a turnkey service, so that means I do all the heavy lifting. Now, of course, I'm not necessarily in your business going through the files, pulling out the
okay.
tax returns.
Right.
So, the client has to give me
Okay.
the stuff, but I package it, I write the narratives, I do all the research, I, put the whole package together, and some of the packages, I mean, literally, I've got a box ready for a client that's going to happen next year. But yeah, so it can be extensive.
Yeah, and that's big, because when you, like you mentioned, the narratives, just the importance of how you describe certain things
Right.
and include that information has to be included.
Absolutely. And that's one of the big issues where if you don't do this all the time, you don't necessarily know what information you need to share, because
Yeah.
if you, write an economic disadvantage narrative, for example, incorrectly, then you're setting yourself up to not be able to get the contract, because they're like, well, you don't have the
Yeah.
capacity to do anything.
Right.
So you need to be able to share that,
Right.
yes, I qualify for economic disadvantage, but that's not a hindrance to me being able to perform and do business for others.
Okay, that's great.
So-
Now tell me about your ebook. So the ebook, Certified Business Advantage, the edge you need when selling B2B and B2G. Share a little bit about that, and of course how they can get the ebook.
Yes, well, that's something, kind of my brainchild that came after writing several articles and doing a lot of things to educate people about certifications. And I kept getting the same questions over and over again, like which certification's right for me? Do I need to get them all? And how do I get started? And
Right.
So I just put it all together in an ebook that kind of it's easily digestible and easy read, but gives people a lot of content and information.
Okay, and how do
And
they get it?
they can get it by subscribing to my newsletter at www.8atheeasyway.com. And I've got a link every week on the newsletter where they can purchase the ebook directly.
Okay.
Soon, a store will be coming to the website, but my web guy. I'm like,
Okay, we know those challenges sometimes, but so definitely go to 8A the easy way, and then of course the value you get on that is going to be your newsletter. So now you not only get the great ebook, but
Right.
you're going to be getting good content
Right,
throughout the
right.
year.
Yeah,
Good.
and I've just finished up a 15-week series about how to do business with every
Okay.
executive department. So Department of Labor, Transportation,
Wow.
Homeland Security, all the different federal departments that are out there.
Oh, that's good. So,
So.
for those businesses that are out there that want to play in this space, it is a great opportunity. It may be a lot of work, as Myra said, but you have someone here to
Right.
really help you get through that process. And I seriously encourage you to make sure that you do that. Don't try to go this alone, even though you could, like you
Right, right.
said, you need to still be building your business and growing your
Right.
business, but bring in those experts because you don't know what you don't know. Someone that can really help you with that because they've experienced going through it with a number of clients. And remember, I said at the beginning that she has helped several clients win multi-year, multi-million-dollar contracts. So now, and before I close and talking about those contracts, kind of address the statement where a lot of people say certifications are just entitlement programs.
Oh, that couldn't be further from the truth. The thing about certifications is it provides you an opportunity, not a guarantee. And I tell people that all the time. I can't guarantee that you're going to get the certification that
Right.
we apply for. All I can do is be an expert at what I know and make sure I advise you correctly going up front. But the answer is with the certifying agencies. And just like that, the contracting officers are going to make the final determination on whether or not you get the opportunities or the contracts that you apply for.
Okay, great. So, and then of course, the big question is now you're certified, so what?
Yes. Now what? Now what? Ah! Well, now then you need to align yourself with partners, and I do quite a bit of this, and I've aligned myself with a great networking association, the National Association of Women-Owned Small Businesses, and we don't only cater to women. We do have some men, several of my clients, male clients that use them as well, but that can help you find those opportunities
Okay.
that meet your capabilities that you can bid on, and just really kind of push you gently towards dipping your toe into that whole
Right.
federal arena,
Right,
because
right.
that can be scary.
Yes, I can imagine. Myra, I know there's so much more. We've got a whole other show in all of this conversation, so we'll talk about that. But there's so much more that you can share. But please, before you leave, one more time, tell them how they can get in touch with you.
They can reach me on the website at www.8atheeasyway.com. You can feel free to call me at 678-974-1670. And my email is Myra, that's Myra, at 8atheeasyway.com.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank
joining us and
you.
sharing some time with us this morning.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely, everyone. You've got the information. This is a great start. Make sure that you go back, watch this episode on demand, take some notes. Make sure you jot down the information from Myra's ebook as well as her newsletter, and follow her, connect with her. To follow us on bizlinks.tv, but also subscribe to our channel on youtube.com/bizlinkstv. Give us some comments on the shows. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you have questions for our guests. We'll be sure to get that to them as well, because we want to make sure that we stay connected with you and make sure that you're connected to these great businesses. For those that have their set-top box to Roku, you can also check us out there, so you'll be able to see Myra's show on your own home TV with the Roku box. So remember, with BizLinks TV, I'm Pamela Alexander, your host, and we want to expose your business to the world. Thank you for joining us. Today's show can be viewed on demand on our website at www.bizlinks.tv. If you are interested in having your products, services, or special cause showcased on our program, submit an inquiry to That's My Biz at bizlinks.tv. In addition, information on advertising and hosting your own show can be found on our website at bizlinks.tv.